Uyayivubela impi, uyayivubela. Uyayivubela impi, uyayivubela. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cooley the Cool Man with Sipho Hlongwane, Umbani Radio, Umbani Live. Yes. We really appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. This is great that we're getting this audience from Montana. Say one for Montana. Say one for Montana. Nini wasa Montana? Nina wasa Montana? You know what, Sipho, to be honest with you, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, man, they are giving us. Because one of the things that abantu abasuke bekhohlwe yona ukuthi if you getting an opportunity to talk to people about who you are and what you are about, it's very grateful. Awubingelele msana.
Sebingelela sithi nje, how are you doing in Montana? How are you doing in the world? Wherever you are, sithi nje, sanibonani molweni bushengi.
Awu bakithi. Babingelele bonke msana. Hey, guys, I like these little things. What do you call them?
Shakers.
Oh, okay. So anyway, we have some shakers over here that we are using in the studio. Just kind of lighten up the mood. We are enjoying them because they are great. They work for us. But anyway, sihlale phezu kwalo udaba msai. So ladies and gentlemen, so basically we came in and we are playing a song that is being played by the Amabutho. Amabutho, are they called troops? They're not really troops. What are they? Warriors. So anyway, we came in with a song by the Warriors. This were the South African Zulu culture warriors, and we both Zulus. So one thing I wanted to talk about, Sipho, is that when we here in America, one of the things that people don't understand is that what our culture and our heritage has brought for us. So now, as South Africans who are here in America, we decided that it would be a nice thing to actually share our culture with everybody and to be able to do something that's together and be able to exchange culture, because culture is very important to exchange. So that's why we're doing a Heritage Day, which is gonna be in Woodbury, Connecticut. Sipho, just a quick question for you. Can you tell them what inini baba?
September 21st. It's gonna be in the morning till late when the sun set, and then you're gonna go home, or
Yeah, Woodbury, Connecticut. This is an East Coast thing, but it's being celebrated all over the world. Do you kumbula heritage yaqala kanjani? Could you be able to tell why heritage?
Oh yeah, heritage. When we were young, we found it actually. We found it there in schools where they celebrate Shaka's Day. They call it a Shaka's Day.
Who's Shaka?
Shaka Zulu is one of those warrior, the king of the Zulus, who did a thing, the amazing thing when it comes to an art of war. Because the strategy that he used, when they analyze it and look at it, they were like, wow, this guy was very brilliant and talented, because they didn't see it coming. Of which is in history, that's what they worship, the art of planning the war for years.
Credit to him for doing all of that and putting South Africa on the map and putting the culture of the Zulus on the map, because there's a lot of things that have been written about him. You remember there's a documentary called Shaka Zulu documentary.
Yeah.
Is that what it called?
No,
there's a series. Shaka Zulu.
There's a series. I saw the movie that you've been playing a long time
Didn't
ago.
they do a series? I thought they did a series.
I don't know. I haven't seen. Maybe got Popeye. I don't know.
Hendrik Taylor, the tall guy that was
the goalkeeper for the Pirate, or
he was a goalkeeper for African Wanderers.
African Wanderers,
yeah. He did pretty good actually. He was a really good goalkeeper, and he was a good actor too. He portrayed the image pretty good. I think.
Very well.
Yes. So the one thing I want to talk about when it comes to heritage, ngizoqala nje ngithini kubantu base Montana, because I know a lot of people don't understand ukuthi why when you come to America you can't just let everything that you are about go and then become an American, a complete American, and just be Americanized, forget about where you come from. But the problem is your heritage, your culture is you.
Yeah, it's true.
That's a very important thing. It's you.
Yeah.
You know, who you are is actually your culture.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So where we from in Africa, you know, we have our own way of life, their own way of traditions. Those traditions are what raise us to be men that we are today, because those traditions goes with certain principles.
Yes.
The funny thing is that some of the principles nowadays abantu abasawabukeli as something that is important, bayibukela phansi. Something simple as I don't know if you know about this. There's people who actually will never wear a skirt anymore. Because why? And I think it's not something that is interesting enough to wear. Pants are more important, and there is people like ourselves. We could not wear ipeshu. Could we wear ipeshu?
Now I can wear it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you go to work nepeshu?
No, it's not comfortable for work. I will tell you that it's not comfortable.
Let me tell you
work.
something though. If you think about your grandparents used to wear ipeshu every day, so how is it not comfortable for you?
No, because they didn't do the job that makes them sit down. You know, most of the time when we sit down, you know.
No,
what I mean?
they did sit down. No, they walked long distances with
Doing
it.
what?
Yeah, but they
Because
were
they were
working.
looking after the cattle. They were practicing
farm
for the
people,
war. They farming. You stand when you farm. You don't sit down. So you know they didn't even need the ipesh. In case when they want to sit down, they will do what ipesh. They would put it out of the what do you call it? Of the butt. And then they'll sit with the butt, not with ipesh.
Yeah, put the shaker over there because these shakers are a little distracting right now. But anyway, I want to talk about, can you explain the skirt that the women used to wear? It's dwaba.
It's dwaba, yeah. It's something made out of, or it's the cow skin.
Cow skin.
It's leather. You call it leather, but it's a cow skin with the oboya. I don't know how to put it in English. The oboya.
It's the fur.
Fur. Yeah. Idokunja is dwaba. Even though it usually by the fur, but it's dwaba. They remove the fur, and then they take. I think they take the inside out.
Oh, they used to wear inside out. Huh?
Yeah, when they prepare it,
the skin, the cow skin, right?
The cow skin. I think so.
They used to let it dry, and then they would. And then ipe sugar. What did they do? They cut down the pieces, right?
Ipe is the back. Is the part,
cow
the
skin.
back part. Yeah. Ipe is the part that comes for at the back for the part that covers the part. That's the ipe. You know what I mean? And then it's nene. Is the front part with the what you call like with like tailish something like that.
That was like animal tails that are floating at the front, huh?
It looks like the squirrel's tail. You know what I mean? Yeah, in the front, like a lot of them covering the front part. You know what I mean?
I think it will be very important for me to put those things too on the video so that people
don't understand what
who
we're
are
talking
interested,
about.
they can be able to see that. So Ibeshu is an IBHESSHU was worn by women. I mean by men.
By men, yes.
And then Isitwaba, which is ISIDWABA, was worn by women.
It's a skirt,
It's like a skirt. It looks like a skirt. It's just that it's made with an animal skin.
Skin, yes.
Now, the important part of that culture, though, which was very, very important about it, is that they live in areas where it wasn't cold, though. It was very warm because there was a lot of breeze around that.
Yeah.
So somebody would ask themselves, okay, if they used to dress on that, what do they use to make sure that they don't get cold, especially at night? Because sometimes temperatures drop.
If you know umhlwehlwe. Umhlwehlwe is something that comes out of the stomach. I think it's of the cow's stomach.
Oh, it's like umhlwehlwe
like
is
a wombish something.
No,
like membrane.
no, it's
a
not.
membrane.
It's not actually. Umhlwehlwe, I think we're talking about. It's like the actual fats that are inside the cow.
Yeah, but there's
right?
this membrane that it covers the membrane that you cut it off.
Oh, so the layer,
that layer. I think they call it.
So,
yeah.
like when you're skinning the cow, the layer before the intestines and all of that.
They dry it. They dry that layer, and then that's the layer they wear it on their bodies.
Yeah.
You know, like
Sure.
I don't know what they call it. The thing that is then You know, just insulate them. This warm.
Keep the insulation. Yeah.
Forget the name of that. It's popular to the ladies. They know that. So
Now-
Mthatha was working like that.
Yeah. Now another question too. People might be interested into Guti. Okay, in South Africa, as you are in South Africa, you guys are from South Africa. Do you still wear that? Is that still part of the dress code?
There are people who still believe on that, on the part of Africa, not like a large part, maybe 5%. Of they still believe in that.
You know what I like about that stuff, though. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
what I like about all of that stuff is that when we wear it in Africa nowadays, because nobody wear that on a daily basis, it's actually more like a tradition thing. But when we wear it with pride. Okay. But now there's some people of which the younger generation that doesn't found that as still being proud to wear isn't a fananalezo.
Yeah.
And that thing, I think even that we are here in America, we realize that when you see a Scottish guy with a kilt, a kilt, right?
Yeah.
You get so proud of him because he's actually sharing his heritage. He's sharing his own traditions with everybody, and with no fear and without being ashamed.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people always feel like Tina Masa Singapore, when we come to America, we forget about who we are.
Yes.
We forget about heritage. Yeah. Of which that's what we're trying to do on 21st.
21st, yes.
Yeah.
To showcase our culture.
Yeah, we showcase our
Yeah,
culture.
so people understand who we are, where we come from.
Where we come from,
because sometimes they ask themselves, the way you behave, your accent, you come, you what? Where are you from? You know what I mean? So when they see those things, the way we come from, those cultures, the things that we are doing, the food that we eat, and all kind of stuff like that, that's when they're going to understand, oh, now I understand why you look like that, why you behave like that. It's your culture, where you come from. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then the another thing too that was very important when we talk about the heritage, let's call them 21st September, is that people will ask, okay, so how about people from Nigeria? Is that still the same culture?
No,
it's not.
Somehow there's a link, a small link that
But
connects
dress
us.
code we are different,
They're
right?
different. It's because when I look at them, I feel like because Muslims and Jews whatsoever, they came there and then they took their religion, and then the way they dress like them, because not everybody in Nigeria wears like that. You know what I mean? Some other people, they wear in different way. Other people, they still focus on wearing those dresses. I don't know what they call them, but when I look at them, I see the Muslims.
There is a lot of Muslim influence in that part of the world. Christianity and Muslim influence.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I look at it, me, myself. I'm not saying that's
South
how
Africa.
it is. When I look at them, trying to study them, I see, because they have churches in Brooklyn, in Bronx, Brooklyn, whatever. They have their...
With the dashiki, ne?
Not the dashiki, that thing that is long, the dress.
Oh, the dress.
That's Muslim, exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
they wear those things with those hats like Muslims, exactly. And then I realized that they own shops in the Bronx. On Jerome, they own shops. Those shops, they are supported by the church. They're motivated by the church to open businesses because they believe their God he allows them to not to work for somebody else.
Yeah, okay,
I'm cutting into whatever.
Okay, well, let's go back to this thing of heritage, because that's the important part. Okay,
Yeah.
so now this is what's important about the heritage for a lot of people that are here, that have some sort of a background that is coming from somewhere. Is that in America, one of the beautiful things is that all kinds of cultures are welcome here.
Yeah,
And
that's
actually
beautiful.
all kind of heritages too are welcome here.
That's
You know
beautiful.
what I mean? And I think that's something that a lot of people tend to like not understand. And it's very important with America, because America basically tells you, okay, well, enjoy yourself, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, show off who you are. Let be proud. Show it to everybody that you are proud of who you are, which is a beautiful thing. I really enjoy
yes,
it.
it is beautiful. I like it. I like it a lot. Because I've learned a lot from Americans as well. I've learned a lot from another different kind of people from other countries. There's a lot of things that I've learned here, there,
places,
and there. It changes your mind. It makes you a different person.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, when you go
really
back
does.
home, when you go back home, you understand very well what is going on out there in this world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, man, ladies and gentlemen, let's switch it up.
Bombani Radio US Africa Diaspora. Number one commercial-free online. Radio only on HD.
So now I wanted to talk about something else, Tumsai, because this is very important. Actually, it touched me in my spirit. We already talked about the heritage. Now we gotta talk about one of the most important thing that kind of help us for being here in America is that America also teaches us actually how to save money, how to be punctual at work.
Oh yes.
You know, somebody might think this is funny. Let's start about just money. Okay. Money is not just money, it's also just living within your means. You understand what I'm saying? Living within your means is a very important thing, because what it is, living within your means, it actually is knowing exactly that if I'm making $400 a week, okay, or let's say $2,000 a month, and my rent is $700. That means within that $1,300 I'm getting, I need to make sure that I live within that $1,300. $700 for the rent, and the rest to make sure car payment, buying groceries and stuff, and all of that kind of stuff. Why didn't we learn these things, Sesekaya, man? Because at home we didn't get a chance to learn any of this stuff.
I know it's true. Maybe probably things are expensive. Let's go there first. Things are expensive because we are
but
dealing
now,
with the
but now,
organic food.
if we don't have the money, how we failing to live within our means? Because let's look in South Africa. We get paid in South African rands, right? So let's say somebody makes like 5,000 rands a month. 5,000 rands will be like maybe $450. I'm making an example here. Okay. The car payment is 1,000 rands, right? And then you find that the person is gonna fail, is gonna get an apartment that costed 3,000. And the car payment is 4,000. He would decide not to take public transportation and decide to use that money to actually buy a car for the status reasons, while he hasn't considered that gas and electricity and food, groceries, other things, that savings and all of that kind of stuff. How do we ended up getting paid $5,000 and then you live on a $6,000-7,000 budget?
I'll tell you why. It's I don't know if it's a peer pressure or whatsoever you may call it, but people in South Africa, they live under pressure because we were in school together, right? Then we finished school. Somebody goes to college. Maybe you go to college. You finish college, your degree or your diploma, and then you go to find a job. And then you live better. Okay. You afford the house because of your job. You afford the car and all kind of stuff like that. And then you're gonna come back to me as your friend. We were together in school, showing me all this. Not because you're trying to show off, but you are so excited that now you live your life of your dream, not really of your dream, but now you reach that state where we were in school. You said, one day we're going to have a job, and then I'm going to have a house, I'm going to have a car, whatsoever. Let's not talk about the wives, because there's another thing. So, I didn't go to college. I finished my matric, or I don't know what they call it here. I finished high school, diploma, whatever you may call it. And then now, I cannot go to college because I don't have money to go to college. And I'm looking for a job. And I make $5,000. When I found a job, I make 5,000 rand a month, of which is 450, as you may said, dollars. You know, you, my friend, you are making 45,000 rands a month.
How is that your problem, though?
So
how is that your problem?
It's a pressure. Because right
what
now,
pressure? We are living in two different payments. We are being paid in two different
I do
payment. So
I
how
do understand.
you know what I mean? Like I'm in a different payment class than you, so you shouldn't even try to compete with me. If I'm making 45,000, you're making 5,000. Live on that 5,000. How do you have a debt? Got 7,000.
I don't know, because I'm trying to reach that level. You went
no,
right
but
now,
you shouldn't
know what
compete with people.
I know,
I
know, but because they're minds. Because when you sit down, when you sit out there drinking with the other friends, and then you talk about your life, so okay, now guys, now we have a job, and then it is we make money, like all the kind of stuff like that. On the table, when we buy drinks, we buy things, and there are girls, there are all the kind of stuff like that. Yeah. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be a pressure to me, because when you get there, all the girls, they go with you, and then I want to feel otherwise, like, oh my God, I cannot even afford to give an girlfriend and you know, they all fall for ukuli. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try by all means to look at the catalogs and try to find the reasonable car, so that I can be able to write the numbers and it's a pressure, because when I'm alone home, I lost because I don't have a car.
That's a stupid mentality, though. It's kind of like saying a CEO comes in and pull up at the gas station and get some gas, and when you work at the gas station, you decide to go try to buy the same car as the CEO just because you can get credit for it. That's stupid, because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't actually even go that far. You should actually live within your means, because this is one of the things I've always asked myself. Now I see why. It's because, like you're saying, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people who are loan sharks. What did you call them? The loan companies in South Africa, they are making a killing in interest. Because a lot of these people, as soon as you get a little bit of credit, you want to request something you cannot afford.
And they leave it.
This is something we need to teach our people.
They take loans.
This is something we need to teach our people, because it's incredibly crazy, man. Because over here, we don't do it though. When we move to America, we start to learn that we need to live within your means. Yeah. Could it be possible, okay, Masekaya, you have abo auntie, abo malume, you know, your relatives, your family. Could it be possible that because we have that, we actually think that I have a cushion and I'm move like what auntie?
Yeah, in the local it's possible, because we stay with our parents forever, like for the longest time. And the only thing that takes you out of your mother's house is when you see your friends.
You know, I like
flat, and then you're like,
you know, I like this American. It's not really a policy, but America really does really well. When you get to like 18, they start to actually urge you, the parents, that you need to look for a place for your own.
Yes.
So that you can move out. Actually, it sounds so cruel when I used to hear about this, but now I'm thinking I appreciate it, because then at the age of 18, you're basically teaching this person, now you can be responsible for yourself.
Yeah, it's a very good idea.
Because you know what's funny? There is actually a story long time ago, a guy that was 30 years old, he didn't want to move out of his parents' house. But now I'm just to think, there's a lot of my friends that still live with their parents. And I'm 40.
No, they don't.
Yo, my goodness, this is it's really, really pathetic. But anyway, DJ Bush, as we go into another part of the show, I just want to highlight this for our listeners, Guti. How our show goes. So the first part of the show, at this time, we're just trying to explain to you guys who we are and where we're from and where we are and what is our goal. And then after that, part of the show too, DJ Bush will give you like a really good music mix. It's a really, really good music mix. I highly recommend it. To needs to stick around and listen to it, because it's a really good music mix. Can you tell them Mungu to pete ipi music mix namhlanje?
Oh yeah. Let me.
Okay, while you're opening, let me just explain who I am, because I have a joke to say. Okay. I used to live in Montana. A lot of people don't know this. My name is Cooley, so I used to live in Montana. I lived in Helena, Montana.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what was the name of my street?
Oh, no. What was it?
None Such Street.
What?
No, it was None Such Street.
Why they call it like that?
I had no idea. NONE Such Street. And let me tell you something. I was in Montana and I was married to this girl. Her name is Ariel. Shout out to you, Ariel. And one of the things that I learned when I was there with my in-laws and Ariel is that it's such a very unique place. One of the things is very beautiful, man. Montana is very beautiful. You have never been there, huh?
Oh no.
And Montana is very beautiful. Actually, they have what you call they call it the big skies because there is a lot of land in Montana.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of land in Montana. It's a beautiful place actually to live. I enjoyed it when I was there. Anyway, one of the things that Ariel's parents had to teach me how to drive like in the snow and stuff. The first time I drove the car in the snow. Because in South Africa we don't get the snow.
No.
Yeah, we don't get the snow. I mean, we do. I shouldn't say that. Up in the mountains, but we don't get like the snow like we get over here. Yeah,
Drakensberg Mountain,
absolutely. Yeah.
In the Drakensberg Mountain.
Tell the listeners a little bit about you too, because I need to tell them that.
Oh yeah, this is DJ Bush on our radio, but Kusipho Hlongwane lona Insizwa KwaZulu. I was born in Johannesburg, but we moved when I was young. Saya KwaZulu Natal with my parents, my grandma and my granddad. We went
They're
there
still in
to
South
KwaZulu.
Africa too.
Still in South Africa. It's one of the state. KwaZulu Natal is a state, like we call it a province. So I was moving from another state, another province in Johannesburg, call it Gauteng. To KwaZulu Natal. It was a very big challenge because of Dolopa and the countryside.
Yeah,
because
moving from the city.
Small country, you know.
Yeah.
So the challenge was the language. You know, because
how can you have an issue with the language in South Africa when you are South African?
A person from New York going to Montana, they would recognize the accent that it's not from here.
But they can still understand each other. So in South Africa, what is your problem?
But the what do you call
certain words you don't use.
Certain words in New York and then in Montana, no, not the same. Trust me.
Yeah, but in South Africa, you speaking Zulu wherever you go, and
but
Zulu is
Zulu. You know, you catch. That's why I talked when I come from Johannesburg. I couldn't express my addiction that my clicks. I couldn't. But I had to learn. You know what I mean? Because you know, if you don't pass Zulu, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to the next class. So I failed 3 times because I couldn't take Zulu was hard. For me. Then they teach me. They teach me, and up until I was good, and then I move on to another class. You know what I mean? Still Izaka and idioms and proverbs.
So the Zulu was a lot stronger for you.
It was too much. It was too much.
For you.
But the culture on its own, when you go there and learn, is beautiful. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. Because there are things
so
that
you had to learn in your own own country.
But there are things that you take them for granted. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
When they tell you the real name in Zulu or in Bantu a name, you're like, what? You know? Don't say inkomo le. A cow, you know what I mean?
All right. Tell the listeners what you got for the mix.
My mix right here, guys, for you in Montana, I want to start you from the first year, so that you understand gradually our music, where it comes from. So I have the old
school
music,
mix.
But it's a good mix that Shisi caught, and it was banning the whatever, I don't know how we call it. But it was a very hot, it was a hit in the times. I have Masilela Tswere, even again, Tiki yo. Ingoma ezaduma kakhulu nomzekezeke ethi guqa ngamadolo yibe na DJ Bongs ethi sobe yasibonana ingoma so ecamanje yokuvala ngoba sobe yasibonana is like a bye bye or see you later, you know what I mean?
Okay, give them that mix, DJ Bush, and later on we have Untate Ngala with a positive note. DJ Bush, let's hear you.
Yeah, boys.
Ay ikuphi imbizo namhlanje? Tiki tiki yo. Tiki tiki yo. Tiki tiki ay. Yo tiki tiki ay. Yo tiki tiki ay. Yo tiki tiki ay. Yo ya man ay. Yo tiki tiki ay. Yo tiki tiki ay. Yo tiki tiki ay. Yo tiki tiki yo.
Yes, come six man. Segese.
Siyavula le DTS record ifikile dona. Umtheketheke lona ibharese kahle lokushini yabona. Ayaye nawe come with this bhuqa ngamadolo. Shipman is reproduction yathi yo DJ Clio yabona. Phethe impintshi yami Brown. Ama-celebrity angeke asibhayisikele emsakho lobe lesiza ngawo lobe lazosikhenya la urikatshani mfana.
Ntwana ungawari respect Clio. Qala semvelo.
Yesithi mtheke.
Whatever.
call you now, I don't care. I not care you who. I call you now, hey. Baba, sinipara seka.
Bossa nazo, msada. Bossa nazo, six-man. Bossa nazo, six-man. Bossa nazo, six-man. Bossa nazo, six-man.
Yo. Hey man, why you finish this song? Tina, I wanna take you. Bring the beat of the music back, man. Bring the beat back. Ngati song Tina la. Kuta. Ngati song Tina la. Kuta. Kuta. Ngati song Tina la. Kuta. Ngati song Tina la. Kuta. Kuta. Ngati song Tina la. Mama, let's take a bell. 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 Mama, let's take a bell. Let's take a bell.
Bossa nazo, msada.
Isha ituka. Yo. Tuka. Hey. Tuka. Tuka mama dolo. Isha ituka. Tuka. Tuka mama dolo. Yo.
Bossa nazo, msada.
Melena.
Bossa nazo, msada. Bossa nazo, msada. Bossa nazo, six-man.
I want everyone to sing this song. Come on. Good God. Everybody say, good God. Sitini man. Good God. Good God. Mama Dodo. Siti good God. Come on, man. Good God. Everybody say, good God. Good God. Mama Dodo. Siti good God. What's that? Good God. Good God. Good God. Good God. Good God. Mama Dodo.
DJ Bush.
Yebo, yes.
Awufana muhle nawo bonke abantu.
Simatsatsa. Sinqazo.
DJ Bush.
Oh yes. Ngiyatshela wena. Ngabe nomona. Akungabe nomona.
DJ Bush.
Hey madoda. Umuntu waphapha esemdala.
Oh my goodness, DJ Bush.
Umtasegugile.
I hope you like that Montana. I hope you like that Montana. I hope you like that Montana. Oh my goodness.
DJ Bongs.
DJ Bongs.
Ezakudala 93 wani.
Hey, I don't remember this
Hey,
song.
Chanel,
How long it is. This will be a
it's very
bonane,
old.
man.
Till
Till I see you again.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Till I see you again.
Oh my God. Till I see you again. That's what we say to Montana. Oh my goodness. Montana KPMF.
Oh, madoda.
Thank you guys.
Siyabonga.
KPMF.
Oh,
Thank you guys.
Hawu siyabonga
Thank you
madoda.
KPMF.
Sithi kwande nanithathe khona.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Azi kunandele.
Thank you KPMF.
Hawu sajabula kakhulu. Amagama
Oh,
amakhulu.
my goodness.
Amagama amakhulu lawo. KB bani?
A KPMF.
F. Oh madoda, amagama amakhulu phela lawo.
Montana Beauty
Senze into
Radio.
enkulu lo. Uyabona?
Thank you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening to us. Umbani Radio, Umbani Live.
Yes.
We have a Facebook page, Umbani Radio Live, and we have another Facebook page, Umbani Productions. And Sipo, we gave them a lot today. We talked about our own culture.
Yes. Yep.
Officials was very important.
Yes.
The heritage that we're doing on the 21st of September,
Yes.
in Woodbury, Connecticut, bringing
Park.
all, it's gonna be beautiful. And then what else did we talk about? We talk about people living
Paycheck
above
to
their
mouth.
means.
Paycheck to paycheck.
Unfortunately, we do have those. And thank you, America, for teaching us that to be
Over
able to be
budget.
careful.
Yeah, the
to
people
be
are
able to
living
be
over
careful.
budget.
Yeah. And then what else did we talk about? Okay. Ndate is going to take over. I think this is the time
Yes, yeah.
to get that positive note.
Yeah.
Thank you, Montana. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. We love you. Thank you.